Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at Quanta 2 granular synthesizer from Audio Damage. This is going to be a full tutorial on how to program the synth using your own samples. Right, okay, so this is the default patch. The first thing I'm going to do is turn the level down of oscillator 2. So now we're only going to be hearing the sample. Okay. And this is the volume level. Well, this is the main level for the sample itself. Okay. So if we turn this down, we won't hear anything at all unless we turn one of the oscillators up. This mixer here is to send the oscillators through the grain engine. Okay, so you can send the sample, the noise, the oscillators, both oscillators, noise, and the sample through the grain engine. Okay, so in this case, we won't hear anything at all because the level for the sample engine is completely turned down. If I turn this up 100%, turn this down, we still won't hear anything now, but now we're sending oscillator 2 through the grain engine, or we can just hit oscillator 2 on its own. Okay, so I'm going to now import my own sample. So we can do that a couple of ways. We can just delete this sample here, or we can go into our file browser here and choose a sample. So let us choose, I've got some piano samples here, so I'm just going to choose this piano sample. I'm going to click on it and it's going to load it in, right? So we won't hear it because we need to bring our sample level up. Now you're hearing Quanta manipulate this sample. If you just want to hear what the sample sounded like, you know, that's it. So Quanta's already done this to it. Switch that off. And you'll see it detects the root note. If you've got a sample which is like a sequence, it may not detect the root note so well, but you can easily tune it up. You could bring in one of the oscillators, for example, this one. If we turn, now we're just hearing this. Well, let's go and do some adjustments now because there's too much going on already. Let's bring our sample back in for a moment. Let's go to our envelopes for start off. And your first envelope here, this first FEG, this is already pre-assigned to your velocity or amplitude. Okay, so let's take the release down a bit. Let's turn this oscillator down and turn the sample engine up. But you'll see it's also got a bunch of effects on. So if we go into our effects section, let's turn off reverb, delay, and chorus. So now, you'll see this is looping here. This is one of the cool things about the FEG envelopes. You can also scale the speed. Now notice it starts to get loud. You've got to be careful of the volume here, right? So let's just turn that down a little bit. Okay. Super duper. Let's go back to our waveform view and look at what's going on. So we can move through the waveform with the position here. Okay. Look, we've got our granular oscillators, so we have grains and length. Let's start to turn all this stuff down, but just leave the level up. Let's turn random down. So this would be the random amount for the grains. So turn that down. Turn the random length down. Okay, turn the amount of grains down. Turn the length of those grains down. Okay, so you kind of get how that works. And then we can choose how this envelope reacts. So now, once we start to introduce a randomization amount for the grains, you'll hear more grains come in. So it'll be a random amount of grains. And then we can do the same for the length, a random length. Okay. And then we can still... This is just a granular oscillator when we're just hearing the sample. So just playing one note now, this C3. Let's turn the, right, so we've got our tuning. Plus or minus 2 octaves. Just set that to default. Okay, so this is a random tuning. This is fine tuning. Double tap and hit default, and it'll reset it to default. Okay, so look, this is very cool. We've got random tuning now, so as you just heard. But let's tap the quantize button, and now we can quantize our random tuning to anything we like. So let's switch it on for the start off, and let's take out everything bar let's actually make this a C minor. So I'm going to take out this, and I'm going to put back in that where is it, E flat there. So now our randomization will be, let's take that B out. So any of our pitch randomization now be locked into C minor, which is extremely cool. And we can also mess with, all this is going to be locked in as well. Let's bring the... So let's modulate this, right? So if we look at our, we've got 4 different envelopes. We can always leave this one alone, but we could go with the envelope 2. We could go with 3 or 4, and we can use any of these as modulation sources. And then we have 2 LFOs, 2 FLFOs here. Okay, and then you can have MIDI sources as modulation as well. And you can also choose mod wheel, aftertouch, etc. But look, let's quickly look at our, let's double tap. And we're going to create a kind of arpeggiator thing. So if we double tap on any of these controls, we can modulate everything. So double tap on tuning, and you'll see we have initially it's key, which is kind of obvious, right? You can send it to the pitch bend. We can add another point now. So let's add FLFO, what God started to say, FLFO1. Let's give it an amount. Now, I'll show you something cool, right? So if we give this an amount, okay, let's look what's happening, right? Let's go to our FLFO and let's switch bipolar off. and it's too much, right? Let's decrease the amount. So double tap on it again to get back to our. There we go. Now we've decreased the amount. Now we have our warp, which is the shape. Sorry, no warping now. Frequency. Now you can have these synced or unsynced, so re-triggered so that the envelope will re-trigger every time you press a key. You can skew. Reset the phase. And also control the amount of that modulation being sent to this pitch, this tuning. So we have two LFOs we can play around with that kind of stuff. Okay, very cool. Let's see, what else can we do? Well, I'm going to take off the modulation for the tuning, so I'm just going to reset that. And take off this as well. So let's have a look. Look, let's change our length. Now, don't forget to watch when you start to push this stuff up, because you're basically adding more and more little grains of that sample in. It's going to get louder, so be careful. In fact, if you look on my channel here, I've even got a limiter on here just in case, but you'll still hear, if it clips, you're still going to hear it like so. Okay, sounds quite nice. You also have the grain direction, so you can choose from forward, reverse, played, minus played, not sure what that is, or like, we'll just try reverse. Random's quite nice though. Then you can increase the width. So mono, if you're listening through headphones, to a wider stereo feel. Let's look at the waveform again. Oh, this is your settings page. That distortion is really quite nice. It's like saturation, but like I said, you can completely control it here. Now, like I said, this mixer you can also mix in the noise. This is brilliant. The noise is really good on this. So let's bring in a noise, and it's going to send, if we want to listen to the noise, right? So this is just on its own. So from there. Don't think I've got any effects on or anything like that. We also have filters. Look, right, so perfect example. If we double click on this, it's hard to say that, FLFO, LFO2, right, is modulating this filter here. We can switch that off, or we can change the shape, but we could go in and say, well, I'm just going to reset that. Is there still some on there? Yeah. There we go. So you have two filters. You can either have them in parallel or series. It's up to you. I'm going to open them both out and go back to my oscillators. Right, so the noise. Very cool. But if I turn a level down here and bring the level up here, it's going to send that noise oscillator through the granular oscillators. So random position now. And if I send this to, say, LFO2, okay, and send this to, oh, that's going, not, did I send that to the, let me have a look at the envelopes. I might have sent this to, might have sent that to, where did I send? Yeah, FEG. So I sent that to an envelope generator. That's just the position on the wave, so I'd need to bring it back in. I could also bring in the actual oscillators as well through the grain engine. And if I go to filter envelope 1 now, which is our general amp envelope for our ADSR, we could create a really kind of evolving pad. We could make these loop points longer if we wanted to as well. Double tap to add a point into the envelope. Different modes, so just once it's just going to track through the envelope. So look, we could do some really cool stuff like this. Because we can add as many points basically as we like. Let's scale this. That's too fast. I'm gonna see. So you can do some very cool stuff. And of course you can bring the dry signal of the oscillators or the noise. Okay, so let's reset the default. And it's going to be back to that default preset we had. Let's just, this time, we don't need to remove it. We can just import it. We can import a new sample. I'm going to go to Cubase where I've got a bunch of samples stored. Here we go. Audio, my samples. And let's just look for something in here. So let's look at our, I don't know, random melodics. So these are kind of going to be kind of loopy type things. So let's just open this and see what happens. So it's done its best to detect that it's C3, so we can always check this. says F minor, so sounds okay. So now, look at the position. We can scroll through the position of this. Let's put random on, so let's modulate that position, maybe with an LFO. But you see what you've got, your macros and your pitch bend, your mod wheel, your keys, sample and hold. So use LFO 1. So kind of, and if you want to just listen, that's what the sample is. It's a sequence. Very cool. Let's quantize our, let's have it something like an A minor, so we take out everything we don't need. We'll leave in an E. Obviously we'll leave in an A and a what is A minor? A, C and E, isn't it? So take out that B, take out this there we go. Turn it on. Let's look at our effects. Chorus. 2 modes. Timing for the delays, left and right. But again, you can choose to have one. Oh, well, that's nice. You can choose to have one synced and one unsynced. Very cool. The noise is really nice. Awesome stuff. Don't forget, by modulating any of this stuff, you can, well, yeah, you can do pretty much anything you want. Got unison mode, number of polyphony voices you want, global level. An info screen, this changes every key you press, it's just an animation. Learn a bit about the app. This is the volume envelope we're playing with. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much. Pretty much everything you need to know to start making your own very, very cool patches. Awesome stuff, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please strike the like, subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a Patreon or making a donation. Thank you for watching. I'll put a link in for Quanta 2 in the description, of course. And I will see you all later. Ta-ra!